Hello, fellow fans. I'm Mark. With me is my co-host, the Jazzy Bryan. What up, Bryan?
Jazzy, is Uncle Phil going to throw me out into the street?
On the last episode, Bryan and I discussed the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Bryan, I've seen it twice. How many times have you seen it?
3, I think. Yeah, 3.
You think?
3. I love that
Final
movie.
answer?
I love that movie.
It's only gotten better. Now, granted, I only saw it twice, but yeah, it got better the second time. I love it. So, yay. On this week's episode, Bryan and I will be discussing Disney's live action remakes. We're going to be ranking them. You're going to hear a lot of thoughts, a lot of hot takes, and I'm going to probably upset a whole lot of Disney people. But let's do it. As you know, we fans starts now.
The truth is, I am Iron Man.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
What is going on? What are you doing?
To infinity and beyond!
This is the way.
The flux capacitor.
Was Star Wars the one with the little wizard boy?
Chewie, we're home.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
Hello, fans. Thank you all for uniting with us as we talk about all things fandom. Please give us a rate or review wherever you listen so we can unite with more fans out there. We'd love to hear from you. Bryan, let's see. Mark and Bryan's World News. Did you get your Indiana Jones tickets?
I did not. I did not know they were on sale.
It started the day of this recording. I got some. So excited.
There you go. I mean, now that I don't live in Central Florida anymore, getting tickets in a timely manner doesn't matter as much.
Breaks my heart. I miss you. Let's see. Disney did announce that all 4 Indiana Jones movies are coming to Disney Plus The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones.
I didn't know about The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. That's awesome.
Yeah, when you look at the one poster, it shows kind of Indy's adventures on the map, and you see a picture of young Indy on it. So I'm excited. The show is definitely dated in some aspects that may, but anyways, watch it. I really like The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. So check that out. Bryan, what comes out next week?
Oh, Spider-Verse. I cannot wait.
I know. I'm excited. It's been a long wait for this movie.
140 minute runtime, the longest animated film of all time.
Wait, how long?
140 minutes, 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow. And it's ending on a cliffhanger, which I've heard. So, God.
Spoiler alert, geez.
Hey, they announced that, which I wasn't happy about that, but you kind of figure since it's a 2-parter.
I'm standing by part 3 is a live action film. That's what I'm standing by.
Ooh, you heard it here first, friends. Just as long as the cliffhanger is better than the recent Fast and Furious, I'll be okay with that. If you would like to hear Bryan and I just share our undying love for the first one, we did do an episode on it. And also, Bryan, I found out James Gunn loves the first Spider-Verse movie as well.
It's his favorite comic book movie. I saw that the other day.
That made me happy. So we have good taste, Bryan. High five. So
man, I seriously, I legit can't wait. We are going to record as quickly as we can after we both see it on opening night and get a spoiler review out there as well. Cross the Spider-Verse. I can't wait.
Yep. Check out that episode and then find us the Thursday night of the premiere. So, and then Bryan, you and I are big Ted Lasso fans. The show is, it has like 1 week left, 1 episode left.
2 episodes left, technically. By the time people are hearing this, the second to last will be pretty close to available, if not already available. And then 1 more, 12 episodes in the 3rd season.
So far, and I mean, you and I are going to do an episode, so I'll just do a quick little review, but started strong, got a little soft in the middle, and it looks like it's going to finish strong, which makes me really happy. So
I feel like some of it's being rushed to finish. I don't disagree with any character decisions they're making to wrap up the show. Sometimes it can feel a little convenient and too happy ending ish for some people. I love that show. I don't care.
I know. I love it. And can't wait to do that episode. But in the meantime, today we are going to talk about Bryan Random Rushmore.
The game where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Wait, so in June, we're going to have to record Ted Lasso, Spider-Verse, The Flash, and Indiana Jones in June.
You betcha. Plus, we'll have like other fun episodes. So not just review episodes.
We're going to be busy.
It's going to be fun.
Busy time.
Yeah. All right. Random Rushmore is where Brian's really smart. I throw him random Rushmores to try to slow him down a little bit. But this time I'm going to be a little selfish. And this random Rushmore is not random. It's a Rushmore. It's for me. But Bryan, it's also a hot take.
Feeling hot.
I know. How's this going to work? Well, I have 4 hot takes, which is the same amount as a Rushmore. So I combined a hot take Rushmore. Does that makes sense, right? Everyone playing at home, we understand the rules? Okay, here we go. Bryan, here are my Rushmores, okay? I recently did a Men in Black marathon. And it's on HBO if you're also feeling it.
How you end up on these marathons, I will never understand.
Look, it's just when you're in the moment, you're in the moment, okay? So hot take, Men in Black, Tommy Lee Jones is in love for most of that movie, and you see him going down memory lane, and then at the end, he goes and he ends up with her. Will Smith smiles and all that, and it's like, aw. Then we get to the second one. Somehow, Tommy Lee Jones, they broke up, and then we get a flashback to younger Men in Black Tommy Lee Jones, not the younger one from the third movie. Anyways, we're not going to get into that. So younger Tommy Lee Jones has a huge thing for an alien that they don't want to get into conflict with. So he's actually romantically interested in an alien in the second one. And then we get to the third one. And then there's another agent, but agents can't fraternize. So then he has a crush, weird, awkward work row flirtmance with a worker. So it just, I think they forgot about that. So it just, I didn't realize until in marathon. But that's one.
And then somewhere in the middle of all that, he works for the U.S. Marshal and he's chasing down Harrison Ford somewhere in the middle of all that.
All right, we're gonna do it. I didn't kill my wife, Bryan.
I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care. Anyways. All right. Second hot take of the Rushmore, and I know I'm gonna speed it up. Okay. So rewatching Fast and Furious and then also watching Stargirl, and it kind of hit me somehow when people get their face smashed through a sink, it doesn't bother them. I know when I've hit my head on a sink or like my elbow or something, it hurts really bad. But when these people get their face smashed through a sink, they just get up and walk away. But then again, it was Fast and Furious, where all logic is out the window.
What's the hot take here? Your face should hurt more?
Well, I guess you're right. I don't know. Hang on. I'm getting to some. All right. Well, you're right. Actually, that isn't a hot take. Oh, my God. Okay, we're going to get to it.
The hot take is your face shouldn't hurt.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't know. Actually, no. Okay, my fourth one's going to be a hot take. I got this. I'm going to make it come full circle. And then third one is seeing people, I feel like this is all just bashing in a way Fast and Furious movies. Whenever someone's holding on to someone with one arm and then you just see them lift up. One, they lift up someone with one arm, their whole body weight. I guess everyone's that strong. Two, it clearly looks like they're on wires and it irritates me.
It's because they are.
Fourth is when you're at a theme park and people who just stop in the middle of walkways or walk slowly or just cut over. Pay attention, people.
Feeling hot.
Thank you, Bryan. If you have a random hot take, please.
I only have one. I don't have 4.
That's fine. I needed to vent a little bit.
I've got 1.5. There's been videos circulating the internet of Fast and the Furious franchise and when they jump the shark. I had never seen, I think it was the 7th one, where Vin Diesel like stomps the ground and the ground like falls out from under Jason Statham.
Yep.
Is he like the Hulk now? Like, you liked the new one.
The ground is technically crumbling and breaking, but yes, the way he pounds it down, it looks, I think it's a bad film job. They filmed it to where it looked like it was a Hulk stomp.
Yeah. That is not my hot take. My hot take is
Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Disney is making a decision to remove certain content from Disney Plus for tax write-off purposes, whatever. My hot take is you're complaining about things being removed from Disney Plus, and then you read the list of things being removed from Disney Plus, like Willow, for example. Nobody watched Willow when it was new. Nobody's rewatching Willow. Your life will not be changed by the content that they are removing from Disney Plus. Move on with your life.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love the movie Willow, but I also know a lot of people, it didn't get the rebirth or second life that Disney was hoping. And the show, Bryan, I was looking forward to that show, and it disappointed me. It was very unorganized.
I never even tried it. But people complaining that Disney is doing this and there's financial benefit for them, and the stuff they're removing just doesn't, like, the biggest thing they're removing is Mighty Ducks Game Changers, which kind of does bum me out. Like, I didn't even watch the second season, but that's on me for not watching it when I probably should have, or Big Shot with John Stamos. Like, that's the kind of stuff they're removing. I don't understand being that worked up over it. I don't.
Wait, they're getting rid of the Mighty Ducks? Crud, I need to watch the second season.
They are. Hurry. Or just don't watch it.
Yeah.
Your life will not be any different. You can just go watch Men in Black again. Did you seriously marathon? Did you seriously marathon all the Fast and the Furious films before the 10th one?
No. Well, okay. Did I do it over like 2 months? Yeah. I did. I couldn't watch them all at once.
Oof.
No. I
couldn't. Ejectocito, cuz.
I couldn't. Yeah. I like, going back to what you said, I think I saw a similar video where it was Fast and Furious when it turned into a superhero movie, but then also you got Michelle Rodriguez saying Marvel needs to stop. How many times can you
Michelle Rodriguez? Yeah. Maybe I do have 4 hot takes. Michelle Rodriguez saying you can only make so many Marvel movies. Are you freaking kidding me?
I know. Get her, Bryan. Get her.
I saw that clip and I couldn't believe it was real. Like, if you're starring in the Fast franchise, you don't get to complain about other franchises making too many films.
No. Yeah. And then
Dungeons and Dragons was good, though. I finally watched Dungeons and Dragons. Michelle Rodriguez was pretty good in that.
I love Dungeons and Dragons.
It was funny.
As of now, it's in my top 10 for the year.
I will say that the scene in Dungeons and Dragons where they're using the mirror as a portal to go in and out of that stagecoach, the visual effects of that scene are incredible.
Right?
That was awesome. So Dungeons and Dragons was very fun. The big fat dragon with the tiny, or he didn't really have tiny wings, but he couldn't really use them. That was funny. Dungeons and Dragons on Paramount Plus.
I know. I need more people to watch it so that there can be a second one. It did well, but not guaranteed sequel well yet. So please watch it. I want a sequel. Like, out of all these horrible movies that are getting sequels, this one needs a sequel.
It was good. It was a lot better than it had any right to be.
I know. And I laughed. I laughed really hard in that movie. And then that that secret cameo, I won't spoil it, but there's a secret cameo. I thought that was funny.
The little guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
We brought up Marvel. Secret Invasion came out with a new preview. I think this is going to be some like Winter Soldier type espionage thriller stuff, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. Do you have a guess as to somebody is going to have been a Skrull this entire time? I feel like Don Cheadle, I feel like Rhodey is almost too easy.
Yeah, that's too easy. I know everybody wanted Sharon Carter.
I think she was one, and now I think.
But then did you hear they changed her storyline because of fan backlash to her in Captain America and the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, because she was terrible in it.
Yeah, no, her. Yeah,
They're also changing Captain America 4. It's no longer called New World Order. They're probably changing the name.
which I'm good with. I thought that was just a meh title.
It's a good comic run.
It is. I love that. But and then people are getting torn up about him getting a new suit. I'm like, of course he has a stealth suit. Like,
yeah, Steve Rogers got a new suit every time we turn around.
Yeah, like it's now. Don't get me wrong. I think his suit at the end of the show. Oh my god, that was beautiful. I love his suit. As long as they haven't gotten rid of it, I would like to see it on the big screen. I know we've brought it up. The only suit that's kind of irritating me is Miss Marvel's suit. I think in the show it was perfect, and then they gave her like a beefed up one for the movie. I'm hoping it's just for maybe while she's in space, but I hope they don't ruin that.
I don't know if we'll ever get the chance to discuss Secret Invasion again before it comes out, so I want to put it on record now. Yeah. I hope the film isn't we have Nick Fury in one place and then we have somebody impersonating Nick Fury in another place, and we're constantly going back and forth on Samuel L. Jackson actually being two different characters in two different places, one impersonating Nick Fury and then the real Nick Fury. I hope it's not a lot of that. I hope they don't go too crazy on who was a Skrull all along. I'm going to go out there on a limb and say Thunderbolt Ross was a Skrull, and this show is the first time we see Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh, man. I'm really excited when they announce that casting, so I'd be okay with that.
That's what I'm going to go with. I just hope we don't spend a ton of time of just Skrulls impersonating other characters back and forth throughout the show. That's what I don't want.
So Bryan's gone on record, Thunderbolt Ross, Skrull, and we see Harrison Ford in the show. And then the third Spider-Verse movie will be live action introduction to Miles Morales.
Correct.
Okay. Good stuff. Well, Bryan, we are going to rank and talk about Disney live action movies. Are you ready to do this?
Yeah, do I have to be positive? Because I probably won't be.
I don't want us, as Michael Rosen says on his show, to just crap on the show. You're crapping on the show, Bryan. Like, I don't want you to do that or crap on the movie. So
if you can't say nice, don't say nothing at all.
No, well, okay. I mean, I'll just get out of the way now. Lion King.
That can't be last on your list.
Listen to our episode about Spider-Man No Way Home, where we talk about two VFX artists who they've openly said that's not a live action movie. So please check out that episode and those thoughts. But okay, Bryan, do you want to start at number 1? You want to start at number 10? Where do you want to go? Or
I have
10.
I was gonna say
number
all
1.
I have all
bottom.
I have all 13, right?
Yeah, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, I got 13.
I'll start at 13. I think we should
let's
start at 13, honestly.
Yeah, let's do it. Go for it, Tiger.
13 for me. Okay. 13
I don't know where it
me
came from. I'm sorry.
Is removing. I only have it at 13 because I haven't watched it. Peter Pan and Wendy.
Okay.
I have zero desire to watch it, and therefore it's only been a month maybe. I have not watched it, so I have it at 13.
I have seen it. It wasn't awful. I appreciate that they tried to add some more to the characters. Did it work? No. But at least they tried, and it wasn't a shot-for-shot remake.
That's what a lot of these are, though. They're going shot for shot. So my problem, and let's talk about this in a grander scope there. When we're talking Disney live action remakes, my issue and how I am measuring these films is, does the film stand on its own, or is it trafficking simply upon nostalgia? AKA why I have Beauty and the Beast very low in my rankings. Because if the animated film doesn't exist, Beauty and the Beast is an absolute disaster.
Ooh, that's an interesting way to look at things. In that way of thinking, that is why I have The Lion King last.
13th.
It didn't bring anything new. The visuals are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Like, the visuals are beautiful. It made a whole lot of money, like outrageously amount of billions of dollars.
1.7 billion.
And Now, I may not like the next couple of movies, but at least they tried to expand on it. They tried.
So do you think that the job of these live action remakes is to expand it though?
Here's the thing. You can try to do something creative like Maleficent did with Sleeping Beauty. You can try to expand some character development like Alice in Wonderland, or you can do The Lion King where, it wasn't a shot for shot remake. I know I've said that, like, oh my God, the Psycho remake. But you need to bring something more to it. And from what I'm hearing, the new Little Mermaid has added at least 20 minutes. That's good. At least they tried to do something with it and not just cash grab. I think that's my problem. It felt like Lion King felt like a clear cash grab.
I would like to reward you for being the first person to ever put the Psycho remake and the Lion King remake in the same sentence.
You're welcome.
Number 12, I have Pinocchio.
Ooh.
Wasted talent all over the place. I thought that movie was terrible.
I have it same. Pinocchio. I didn't even finish it in one viewing. I guess technically I could rank Lion King a little higher than Pinocchio in that sense, that at least I finished Lion King. I went to the theaters and watched it. Now, granted, Pinocchio was a Disney Plus release, but it took me 2 tries. I love Tom Hanks. Brian, I love Tom Hanks. But his Geppetto just wasn't working. They did try to expand on the story. I like Jiminy Cricket. They have modified him. The Blue Fairy, they modified her. They even gave Pinocchio a friend puppet. That was okay. But yeah, no, Pinocchio, number 12 for me as well.
Yeah, not good. When we talk about you love Tom Hanks, it reminds me of the quote from Community where...
Do you and Troy still actively use Jeff's Netflix account without his permission?
Wait, what?
You told Pierce that? You logged in at our place and never logged out, so we use it.
Is that why my review of The Grey is constantly changing?
Yes, stop giving it 4 stars.
I like Liam Neeson.
Then send him a message about the roles he chooses.
That's what I want to do with Tom Hanks, is I want to send him a message about the roles he chooses, because Elvis and Pinocchio back to back were terrible decisions, in my opinion.
Those, yeah. You could tell people love Tom Hanks because they were trying to be nice about his performances in that. I did just watch Otto. It just came to Netflix, and that's a great Tom Hanks performance. So, but that movie is heavy, so warning on that.
Number 11, Tim Burton's never going to come high on my list. Dumbo. I love Michael Keaton. I love Danny DeVito, but nothing about Dumbo really worked for me either.
I have Dumbo a little higher, just like a little higher.
I don't get it with Tim Burton, man. I just don't. There's certain Tim Burton stuff. Batman 89, I will love that film forever. Batman Forever, pun intended, horrible. Hate that movie. So, but the Batman Forever Lego set that they just dropped is dope.
He didn't do Batman Forever.
Tim Burton didn't?
No, he did Batman and Batman Returns.
Or that's what I meant. I meant Batman Returns.
I
like Batman Forever better than Batman
my
Returns.
Favorite of those two.
I hate Batman Returns.
I think we've talked about this.
We have. I hate Batman Returns. Dumbo is 11th on my list. What is 11th on your list?
That's where I put Peter Pan and Wendy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Dumbo, man, I mean, that was their chance talking about expanding on a story. I think Dumbo is only 70 minutes, the original animated. So that means they had to expand on it, which forced them not to just do a clear remake. But then watching it, and then I don't know, Brian, am I heartless? When Baby Mine starts to play, I'm just like,
oh, that's my wife's favorite lullaby to sing our children. So that one has a special place in my heart. Okay. So you can be heartless, but I can understand where you're coming from. But I would never agree with that one just for those reasons.
See, that's cute. I love that. But when it came on the preview, I rolled the heck out of it. So maybe if they played like Baby Mine over Yondu's death scene, maybe I would have felt something. Shots fired.
I think honestly also where I struggle and where I expect to struggle with The Little Mermaid, again, this is why this is coming out now, is Little Mermaid is number 14 on this list. Timothy Mouse is just a straight up mouse. Like there's some character to the animated versions of these characters. I don't want to see an actual mouse like that. Like Flounder doesn't look like Sebastian. No, thank you. Like I don't want to see this version of Sebastian. Like Sebastian's supposed to be a big-eyed red crab that can move however we want. I don't need it to look like an actual crab.
So you wanted
Scuttle terrifies me in the live action.
You're not the only one that's popular online. So you wanted less like Jungle Book, Lion King, where they went more realistic looking.
But Jungle Book, it makes sense. Even Lion King, it makes more sense. Like I don't know, when your conscience, like Jiminy Cricket was kind of borderline there. Like he still had some cartoonish features to him.
Yes.
And Timothy Mouse did not at all. Like Flounder does not seem to have any sort of cartoonish feature. I guess that's my complaint.
Okay.
Even Mrs. Potts didn't have a lot of cartoonish features, which is why Beauty and the Beast comes in at number 10 on my list. Beauty and the Beast. I love Emma Watson. I love Dan Stevens. I love the music. Even the added song that they added to the movie, I actually thought was really well done. But again, if you put this movie on its own two legs without the existence of the animated feature, this movie is horrendously bad.
I thought I was hard on Beauty and the Beast. I'm not that hard. I've very loudly said one of my favorite songs is Human Again. And then they cut it from the movie and then did a song about being human again. So instead of using my favorite song, they redid another song. And
was it ever considered to be in the live action version?
I don't know. It's in the show.
Yeah. Well, and it's now in the animated version, depending on what version you watch.
Oh yeah. I like the extended one. Yep.
I should like it better, but I don't. It's like 2 hours. It's like well over 2 hours too. I think that's part of the issue is it just drags. I think Emma Watson did well in the role. And it's beautiful costuming. There's a lot about that movie to like, but I just think if the animated one didn't exist, this movie falls at every turn.
Beauty and the Beast was my favorite Disney animated movie of all time. So I had this one in very high regards. Seeing the live action one, I didn't, feel too much visually. It had some good parts. But yeah. And then they tried to give Belle's dad more of a backstory. I love Kevin Kline, but yeah.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters in the animated one too, because he's just such a goofy goober. And
I think one of my favorite like fan made things is Maurice was in here raving again, and it's just him with like glow sticks. I think that's like people send me that randomly, and I think it's one of the funniest things in the world. For me, next up, what are we on? 10?
Yeah, you're on 10. You're on 10.
10 is Mulan.
Our lists are very different.
So I wanted the live action Mulan for a long time. Ever since it was first rumored, I wanted it. And having seen it, it was a mess. At one point, I even had it a little lower. And then as I rethought about my list, I moved it up. But I think Mulan for me was a disappointment after being very excited. And then at times they made it too superhero-ish instead of this female warrior. And I felt like I don't know. It just didn't work for me what they tried to do.
I won't talk about Mulan actually for a little while. I think where Mulan succeeded, part of the reason is people forget about Mulan because it was hardcore impacted by the pandemic. It was supposed to come out in May of 2020. Then it got pushed. Then it was premiere access, blah, blah, blah. But
I never paid for it.
I think Mulan actually differentiated itself, which is what upset some people, where it differentiated itself because it didn't have the music. It didn't have Mushu. at least in the same. It didn't have the lucky cricket. Like it took my criticisms of Timothy Mouse that I was talking about with Dumbo or with Sebastian and Flounder, and it just ignored them altogether to tell this story. And I think actually that made it more of its own film. I actually thought, and some of the fight scenes and stuff in it were really well choreographed. I like Mulan a lot. Like it's high on my list.
See, and I actually didn't have a problem with it not being a musical. I love the score for that movie. I was okay with like kind of getting rid of the cricket and Mushu and like all that. I thought that was fine. And at one point she had her father's armor, and it's like, this armor's been in our family for generations, and then she just takes it off and leaves it in the middle of the desert without care. Just elements like that bugged me, which is probably why my next movie is going to disappoint you. That's where I have Dumbo as next up. So we're kind of close on that. We're not that far off on some of them.
We're not too far off. I have Lion King much higher than you do.
Yeah.
And you have Dumbo just a little bit higher than I do. My number 9 is Alice in Wonderland. And that's just because I don't care about the animated film Alice in Wonderland. It's just all too weird for me. Maybe I don't do enough mushrooms. Maybe that's it. It's just one Alice in Wonderland in general just isn't my cup of tea. So it slots in at number 9 and will probably stay there forever.
I didn't mind it that much. God, the second one was an utter train wreck. So, and then of course, Alice in Wonderland, everyone that year was Alice or the Mad Hatter at every convention or Halloween party. So
yeah, that's where Johnny Depp takes it a little too far for me. Like, yeah. I don't know. I like Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka, not so much as the Mad Hatter.
Willy Wonka. Oh, that new preview just came out for the new Willy Wonka. Did you see it?
Did not. I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, it comes out, I think, this December. So
starring Chris Pratt as the blueberry. Number 8. Number 8, I have Lady and the Tramp. It came out the day Disney Plus debuted. This was one of their signature films. Tessa Thompson and who played Tramp? I can't remember. It was fine. Again, at least the dogs, this is where it was on the Lion King Jungle Book level where it at least made sense story-wise to make the animal look like the real animal, and you could still tell the story. Lady and the Tramp, nothing to write home about, but it was fine.
Bryan, we actually have Lady and the Tramp at the same place.
Nice work.
I mean, I wasn't that familiar with the original one, so that's why I had not too much to compare about it. I enjoyed it. The creative additions I thought were good. The animation was good. It also didn't irritate me like some of the others that were below it. So check it out. It did go straight to Disney Plus, which I think was the right decision for it. It didn't feel very cinematic. So, but yeah, check it out. I think it's underrated.
Justin Theroux played Tramp. Number 7 is the OG live action remake, Glenn Close, starring in 101 Dalmatians.
Wow, we really, man, I'm going to really shock you where I have that one. I enjoy that one. Fun fact, portions of it were filmed at Disney's Hollywood Studios when it was MGM Studios, where the third track of Toy Story Mania is. That used to be a filming soundstage, and like the barn scenes were filmed there, as well as the Mickey Mouse Club, like the new Mickey Mouse Club. So fun facts.
Also, Mr. Weasley was in that movie, and Harry from Dumb and Dumber played Roger.
Yeah. Well, Dr. House and Mr. Weasley, that scene when...
Oh, yeah, it is Hugh Laurie as Jasper, isn't it?
Look at me. Pay attention. This is very important. There are 2 things you must not do with Skinner, right? 1, do not look at the horrendous scar on his neck. 2, don't talk to him. Understand? Not a word.
Right.
Oh! Look at the size of that scar!
No blinking wonder you can't talk, mate.
Excuse me just a minute, would you?
I lose it every time. I love 101 Dalmatians. It was in the earlier days, extremely earlier days. Brian, did you ever see 102 Dalmatians?
I did.
Like, I know kids like that one because there's more animals, but meh.
It's also got Joan Plowright, who plays the nanny. You don't know that name, but you definitely recognize her as anybody's sweet grandma in any film from the 90s.
I think of her from, I think, the Dennis the Menace movie.
Yes. Yeah. She was married to Mr. Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Good call.
That was cute. Well, next up for me is, honestly,
this is 7th for you?
Huh?
This is 7th for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we had Lady and the Tramp at the same one.
Yeah.
I am going to go.
You're going to switch your list, it sounds like.
No, I think I'm going to keep it. It's between Beauty and the Beast and Alice in Wonderland, honestly. So those are my next two. Honestly, depending on my mood, I could flip-flop either of those.
So that's 6 and 7 for you. Okay.
Yeah.
6, I have The Lion King.
Oh my God. If you would have had that in your top 5.
I wanted to just to piss you off, but I couldn't do it.
Bro.
I like it. I love Jon Favreau.
Yep.
I think the film is exactly what he intended it to be. Whether that defines itself as a live action remake, it's on the list. I will put it at 6.
I will still stand by and salute him. I don't think he's ever made. How can I phrase this where it makes sense? I don't think he's ever made a bad movie. Has he made a not so artistically creative movie? Lion King, yes. Did he direct a beautiful, hard to make film? Yes, with The Lion King. Heck, I'll even shots fire. I think his movie Zathura is better than his Lion King. It's definitely more creative.
I'm sorry, I'm not listening to anything you're saying. I'm just remembering Christopher Lloyd in the Dennis the Menace remake.
Oh my God, is the traveling tramp?
He's terrifying.
He is. He scared me as a kid. And then, of course, you had the funny scene where they're under the bridge and like all the Home Alone antics. Oh my God, was Dennis the Menace a slight ripoff of Home Alone?
Switchblade Sam.
That's his name in a kid's movie?
Yeah, man.
I just remember that Walter Matthau, love him, by the way. He was such a jerk to Dennis when he's yelling at him about the flower and how he ruins everything.
You're a pest, a menace, a selfish, spoiled little boy, and I've no use for you. You took something from me that I could never get back. Something that means more to me than you ever will. You understand? I don't want to see you. I don't want to know you. Get out of my way.
But I imagine Mr. Wilson being exactly how Walter Matthau was in real life. Who'd have known that Disney live action remakes would get us to Dennis the Menace live action remake?
I want to know how many listeners out there have actually seen the Dennis the Menace live action remake.
I used to watch that movie like once a week growing up. Like it would be We're Back followed by Dennis the Menace just on repeat every Saturday.
For everyone at home, We're Back is a Steven Spielberg animated movie about talking dinosaurs. No, not Land Before Time.
Way better than Land Before Time.
Yeah, no arguments here. Oh my God, so many people are going to roast us for like saying that about Littlefoot.
I don't know. We've talked about We're Back many times on this podcast. Number 6, I had The Lion King. Number 5, I have Maleficent. I recognize what that movie is, what that movie does, what that movie accomplishes, how well Angelina plays in that role. I just have zero passion for the story of Sleeping Beauty or the character of Maleficent. So that's why it comes in at 5.
Yeah. I dig Maleficent. I have it higher up.
I did not like the second one very much.
I get what they were trying to do, but it was kind of a rehash of the first one at times. And Michelle Pfeiffer is always wonderful. But yeah, I agree with you. The second one's not great. I have, for me, at number 5, I have The Jungle Book, which I actually like, and I hate that. See, here's the thing. The top 5 was the hardest for me because I enjoy all of these movies that are in the top 5. The rest of the list was just like, they're all on the bottom. I know they're all on the bottom, but the top 5. So I got the Jungle Book at number 5.
Jungle Book, Lion King. What is it? Just simply the presence of a physical human body in the film that helps you define it as a live action remake versus the Lion King?
Yeah. I
like Life
of
Pi.
I know I've gotten nailed on that before. Is it okay? So it's got one person in it, so that makes it a live action movie.
I wasn't coming at you with that
No,
accent.
that's fine.
I was simply asking a question. Was it just the one person, Mark?
Well, okay, so this is where things get always interesting. Like Marcel the Shell was nominated for Best Animated Movie, and I was very surprised by that. And then I remember when Stuart Little, the first one, came out, they were considering it. They were saying it could be considered for best, like for an animated movie. And I was just like, what? Stuart Little? So it's always interesting, things like that.
I have to ask you a question for like 3 members of our audience. Stuart Little or Mouse Hunt? What's better?
Mouse Hunt.
All right.
I don't even need to think about that. Do you know who directed Mouse Hunt? Gore Verbinski. The guy who did Pirates.
Yeah.
The Ring.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Mouse Hunt. Nathan Lane. Check it out. Still funny. Where are we? All right. 4. So Jungle Book. To answer your question real quick, since I got on a rant. The one person made a difference. Also, the film wasn't essentially the same as the animated movie. They expanded on it. Plus, the thing is, that came out before The Lion King. Maybe if you had done The Lion King first, it would have seemed new and fresh. But because I'd already seen a animal heavy movie in the Jungle Book that was better, plus I feel like John had more fun directing that one. We're on a first name basis, right? Had more fun directing that one. So I got the Jungle Book at 5. Yeah, 5. Thank you.
Gore Verbinski, also director of The Lone Ranger. That movie should have been better than it was. Number 4, I have.
Hang on. I have fun with The Lone Ranger. I know it's very problematic and it's too long. I wish it could have been better. It's not going to age well at all. But
it is too long. It's 150 minutes. Holy crap.
Yeah, should have been 2 hours. I mean, there's a lot of things that should have been different. But anyways, yeah.
Fascinating. Also, Armie Hammer. Speaking of things that have not aged well. Number 4. Ooh. Mulan. I have Mulan at 4.
What?
Yeah. I already backed it up. I told you what I thought about it, and I have Mulan at 4.
Okay. I have Maleficent at 4.
Number 3, I have Aladdin.
Bryan, you and me both, buddy.
That means you have 101 Dalmatians in your top 2. And it's probably number 1, it sounds like. Which means we also have the same one at 2nd. Okay. Aladdin. Much better than I thought it was going to be. I think they added a lot to the story. I think Will Smith actually made the character of Genie his own. He didn't try to channel Robin Williams, which is what a lot of people were concerned about, including myself. The added storyline, the added dimension to Jasmine, including the Speechless song that they added to the film, not the reprise of Speechless. The second time they play it, it makes absolutely no sense. But the first time they play it in the film, it fits in really well. Everything about it was perfectly cast. I think a lot of the movie was really good, even though Mena Massoud, or however, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correct, he's complaining that he's now been typecasted because of the movie Aladdin, which kind of bugs me. But anyway, it is what it is. I thought he was good in that role. Naomi Scott as Jasmine, again, perfectly cast. I don't love Guy Ritchie. A lot of too much speed up, slow down, throw a bunch of color at the camera. But for this film, it worked.
Yeah, I do appreciate Guy Ritchie. And at times you could tell he was trying to insert his style in there, which I was okay with.
Jafar, far too monotone for me.
The actor, I've seen him in other stuff, and he's good.
I thought he was bad in Black Adam too.
Okay. Well, Black Adam. Forget about the review that I gave on that episode.
We
but
were nice to that movie.
I don't want to talk about it. If we ever redo episodes, like that's on my list. But yes, I think his performance was too quiet as Jafar. When you go back, especially now, I know I don't want anyone to ever just copy the original, but the original Jafar, he was over the top when he needed to be. And even if you watch the Broadway musical, Jafar is amazing in that. He was quiet in this. You brought up Jasmine's song, Speechless. The first one is okay, but that song does stop the flow of the movie somewhat both times, especially the second time. It's a solid song, but where it is in the movie, it feels just like, hey, we gotta give her a song, force it in there. So
it's where they fit the second one in for me. Makes no sense. But again, this took what I was complaining about with Timothy Mouse, Iago. They just removed him from the film basically, and it was the right decision.
Yeah, I agree. Will Smith, I remember when everyone was on him, and then when the first preview came out and his graphics and everybody was ripping it, and I'm just like, you all need to calm down. It's the first preview. I know they
it's
are
also
making
Robin Williams isn't available. Like, what do you want them to do?
Yeah. And plus Robin Williams, even if he was around, he wouldn't have fit for this movie. So they are going to make a second one. I know there were rumors after the slap that Will Smith was going to get dropped. I don't want him dropped. And then those rumors of him being dropped for The Rock. I definitely don't want The Rock to be the new genie. I don't even want the new Moana live action. We're going to get to that later. But I hope Will Smith comes back for the second one. So I think he did very well.
Number two, I have Cinderella. It's a good reimagining for what it was. Everything it was trying to accomplish, it did. Richard Madden was good in the role. Lily James was good in the role. Cinderella is really good.
My number 2 is 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, wow. I really thought it was going to be number 1.
Yeah, that would have been great. My number 1, 101 Dalmatians. No. Yeah, my number 1 is obviously Cinderella. I'm a huge Kenneth Branagh fan. Maybe not Artemis Fowl, but
Speaking of, that's getting removed from Disney Plus.
Oh, do you remember how that was supposed to go to theaters? That would have bombed even more if it went to theaters.
Woof, it would have been worse than Wrinkle in Time.
But yeah, nope. Cinderella's number 1. Love the costumes. The only thing that gets me is how white certain characters' teeth are. I can't stop looking at it.
This is supposed to be old school Britain. Everybody's supposed to have yellow teeth that aren't there.
No, okay, not that bad, but it was a little like, what are we doing here? Cate Blanchett as the wicked stepmother. Oh my God, I don't think she's ever done a bad role. So, yep, that's my number 1.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, are you looking through?
I'm going to try. It's going to be very difficult.
Now, remember, I said bad role, not she hasn't done a bad movie.
Dude, her as Katharine Hepburn in The Aviator is probably her best performance I've ever seen.
Well, she won an Oscar.
For that one? Did she? Good.
Yeah, she got supporting actress.
Good. Then people agree with me.
Yes, the Academy agrees with you, Brian. The Academy, if you're hearing us out there and you would like to invite us to be members, we will accept. We will also accept a VIP tour of your new museum in Los Angeles.
Ocean's 8, not good, but yeah, she was good in it.
Oh, man, Ocean's 8, God.
Anyway, this could go on for a very long time. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to, I brought up Moana.
I didn't tell you my number 1.
Oh, what is it?
It's The Jungle Book.
All right. I got no problem with that.
Fair enough. Move on. Go ahead. Moana.
Honestly, Maleficent and Jungle Book for me could have flip-flopped 4 and 5.
Jungle Book's kind of what reined in this new era of live action remakes too. It was kind of 101 Dalmatians removed. Everything else, like Jungle Book was kind of first, wasn't it? It beat Cinderella by a year or 2.
Yeah. And I mean, there's one score part where they redid Bare Necessities, but in score version for that film, and it hits really hard, and I love it.
Cate Blanchett in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Do not get me started, Brian. You know I like that movie.
I like that movie too. It's way better than Temple of Doom. Speaking of, how did that Instagram poll go? You put up Guardians 2 to Temple of Doom.
Oh, I was hoping you forgot about it. For everyone who doesn't remember, Bryan made a statement that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is better than Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So follow us on Instagram if you would like to chime in on polls. And you all definitely turned out and voted. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 not only won, but it annihilated Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. So our listeners and Instagram followers agree with Bryan. Yeah.
Sweet. All right.
So upcoming, we'll refresh everyone on our list at the end, but upcoming ones that have been announced.
I forgot
Moana.
that she played Marion Loxley in Robin Hood with Russell Crowe in 2010. Cate Blanchett's been around the block for a while, man.
I forgot about that one. Now, here's my hot take. She should have won Best Actress for Elizabeth over Gwyneth Paltrow for Shakespeare in Love. So, Brian, what are you most excited for upcoming announced live action remakes? We got Moana, Snow White, Hercules, Lilo and Stitch, Hunchback, and the Aristocats.
None of the above.
Questlove's going to be with the Aristocats. That's the only reason that one actually caught my attention.
I just picture the Aristocats scene with all the cats dancing. Everybody wants to be a cat, and it's just Jimmy Fallon with the Roots behind him and Questlove on the drums. None of the above, to be 100% honest. Like, I know the Russos are involved in Hercules.
Yeah.
I think Hercules is the one with the most potential, and I expect it to get ruined. I don't think you can recreate the magic that is the original Hercules film. Even if you do the same songs, even if you do a lot of the same stuff, the jokes of the Air Hercs aren't going to land. Like, if it's good, like, you're not going to have any of that. And I feel like it's going to fall short of what the animated film was. And you are wearing his merchandise.
Moana, I would rather a sequel, an animated sequel, not a live action remake. I don't think we need it. Moana, I love it. Snow White, I'm very curious. I know it's kind of already gotten some hot water a little bit about how they're going to do the Seven Dwarves. Lilo and Stitch, I think it's got potential.
It can't be any worse than the animated film.
Whoa. Aristocats, like I said, the only reason it caught my attention is Questlove. Hercules, I love Hercules. But for me, Hunchback is the one I think that has the most upside.
Frollo's a terrifying villain. Like, Hunchback of Notre Dame, like that movie is not one I go to, but that movie is a masterpiece from an animation standpoint and just attention to detail and all that kind of stuff.
And soundtrack.
But Frollo's downright like real world terrifying. Like, the only one that even rivals him for me is Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog, where like it's actual like voodoo, like real crap that terrifies me.
Voodoo. Is there a Disney animated movie that hasn't been announced that you're hoping they do make a live action remake of?
You go first.
For me, and I know it's pretty cliche, but Atlantis. I don't want Tom Holland. I would love a remake of that one. A little part of me wants a live action remake of The Black Cauldron, but I know that wouldn't do well in theaters. It would have to go to Disney Plus. But I think with how Dungeons and Dragons and Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones is, I think you could do a Black Cauldron, but if you try to go Willow with it, it's gonna go the way of Willow. So, but for me, it's definitely Atlantis, The Lost Empire. As much as I would love an Emperor's New Groove live action remake,
do not touch that film. Do not touch that film.
That's my thing is, please don't mess with that.
I would prefer they don't touch a lot of them. Emperor's New Groove. Oh, that movie is amazing.
Home on the Range, Brian. Is that what you want? Home on the Range?
No. Well, I mean, if you're gonna do it, like do it for a movie that deserves it. I feel like something OG like The Sword and the Stone would be a good live action remake.
Yeah.
And better than A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
You didn't like him rollerblading through the castle?
I mean, how long until we have a Frozen live action remake? I mean, it's probably within the next 10 years.
Well, they're making the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, those movies are making billions of dollars. So you got the third one. I think they'll be done with the third one. And then I will say
Princess and the Frog would be an okay one to do in live action. But again, the frog needs to have some cartoonish.
Yeah. Plus, you got the Tiana show, I think, coming out.
Yeah, that's true. That's animated, though.
I mean, there's also a Tiana ride coming.
You know what we didn't throw on our list? I'm gonna make you rank it right now. Christopher Robin. That probably should have been one we ranked.
Why?
Because it's a live action remake.
Of what?
Winnie the Pooh. Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, but it's not a live action remake of a movie. I know some people have it on their list, which I don't get. It's not a remake of a movie. It's a sequel. Christopher Robin is grown up and Winnie the Pooh is there. So that's why I didn't have it on our list.
What film do you hope they never, ever even think about making a live action remake? Because my answer is Bambi.
Oh my God. Please don't.
They will.
Please don't make a Bambi. I know that's on the rumored list. I saw it for speculation. By the way, I love Christopher Robin, Ewan McGregor, and the Bears and all that. Please watch that movie. I love it. But Bambi's a really great answer. The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, I love that movie.
I hope they don't touch that one. But seeing how well, it went over with fans, not me, with Chip and Dale, you could maybe get away with a Great Mouse Detective.
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I love that movie.
Meh.
That is number one if you let me put that on the list. I know it's the same rule as Christopher Robin. It's like a continuation and sequel and whatever, but I am putting Rescue Rangers number one on my list.
All right. Well, our 13, it was 13, right? My 13 list was Lion King, Pinocchio, Peter Pan and Wendy, Mulan, Dumbo, Lady and the Tramp, Alice in Wonderland, Beauty and the Beast, Jungle Book, Maleficent, Aladdin, 101 Dalmatians, Cinderella.
Not seen Peter Pan and Wendy. Last place, Pinocchio, Dumbo, Beauty and the Beast, Alice in Wonderland, Lady and the Tramp, 101 Dalmatians, The Lion King, Maleficent, Mulan, Aladdin, Cinderella, and The Jungle Book.
That was good. Brian, are you going to go see The Little Mermaid coming out the week of this episode?
I am not at all going to prioritize going to see it, but I could end up in the theater Memorial Day weekend. I don't have a ton going on, which is a nice change of pace in my world right now. I just, as you've heard through this episode, I'm not a gigantic fan of the live action remake in general. But I will go see it. If for no other reason, I don't want people to think I'm not going to see it for any other reason.
I think we all know, Brian, that you're a good person. I'll go see it. It's getting, okay, like middle to good reviews, which is good. So yeah, I'll go see it. I'm glad the cast is getting good reviews and the soundtrack is those Disney fans who are very territorial are actually supporting the soundtrack, so that's a good start. Well, that concludes this episode. We thank you, fellow fans, for uniting with us. For those listeners who want to stay up to date with everything UWF, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That's where we like to do somewhat fun polls, like Bryan winning Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
But check us out. Brian, you said it. We got a Spider-Verse episode coming up, Indiana Jones, The Flash. We're working on other episodes. We've got another Disney episode coming, another another movie, bad movie jail episode in the works. We got fun things coming. So
Ted Lasso
Bryan.
shrinking. Like we got a lot that's piling up on us. Secret Invasion starts June 21st.
Yep.
Loki we didn't talk about comes out October 2nd, or excuse me, October 6th, and all episodes of Echo dropping November 29th, which might not mean great things about that show, but we have more time to talk about that later on.
Yeah, they say they're testing it, but are you testing it, or are you just not having that much confidence in it?
That's what I think it is.
Yep. Well, thank you, fans, for listening to us. Wherever you check out your podcast, please give us a rate or a review wherever you listen. Till we unite again, fans, remember, a dream is a wish your heart makes.
Aww.